Most people think hard work is something you're either born to love or hate. But what if I told you that you can literally rewire your brain to crave it? You can turn yourself into someone who thrives in the grind, even if it always scared you. But it's not as crazy as it sounds. I've experienced this shift myself. And once I learned how to solve that problem, I not only began to enjoy the process, but also started making progress faster than ever before. My studies took less time, I managed to work out more often and cram some new things into my days, like occasionally playing board games with my friends. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact steps I did to make the same change. This video will answer questions on how to shift your perspective on discomfort, make big tasks less overwhelming, and by the end, you'll have some practical tips to turn hard work into something you not only do, but actually want to do. Hello there, my name is Leo, and here's how this all started. I as usual would sit in my small room barely big enough for a bed and a desk. It was late afternoon. My laptop was open in front of me with a list of things for the rest of the day, but I didn't want to do any of them. I'd spent tons of time finding excuses and procrastinating. But when I realized my life started to look like a Groundhog Day, and when I realized I was finally fed up with it, there came a moment that suddenly changed everything. I was sitting in the same room and the same desk, looking at the same laptop, but this time watching a self-help video. The speaker talked about the brain's ability to rewire itself, neuroplasticity. This concept couldn't leave me alone. That night, I sat down, closed all my distractions, and just kept on thinking about it. Something about knowing I could train my brain to crave the work I had tried to avoid so hard excited me. This is what we call a growth mindset. Basically, you begin to view failures not as the end of the road, but as essential stepping stones toward mastering any skill or achieving any goal. How many times have you failed at something only to later realize that failure was actually a critical part of your learning process? For me, it's countless times. But reframing those bad experiences isn't easy. The real win isn't figuring out what you can learn from that fall and how you can use that to move forward. Once you shift your focus to what each challenge is teaching you, suddenly hard work becomes less about perfection and more about persistence. When you encounter setbacks, you've got two choices. You can either let them discourage you and make you give up, or you can ask yourself, what's the lesson here? What did this experience teach me? The more you practice the mindset, the more hard work itself becomes something to look forward to. Not because it's easy, but because it's helping you to become better. But if there is one truth about hard work that rarely gets enough attention, it's this: discomfort is inevitable. But once you learn to associate discomfort with growth rather than pain, everything changes. Recently, during a study break, I picked up a job as a handyman at the local university. It wasn't anything too serious, just a way to earn some extra money. It wasn't particularly hard on the body, but sometimes, by the end of the day, I'd find myself mentally and physically worn down. I remember one day in particular. It's been a long shift, and I was walking toward the gym. I had my gym bag slung over my shoulder, and as I got closer to the entrance, it hit me. It was leg day. Now let's be real. Leg day isn't exactly what you look forward to when it comes to gym sessions. Unless you're a bit of a psychopath, right? I mean, I usually get through them just fine, but compared to other days, it always feels like a grind. As soon as I realized it was leg day, the excuses started creeping in. I started convincing myself I had earned the right to skip it. I was looking for any little reason to justify it. I realized what was really happening. I wasn't that tired, I was just avoiding discomfort, the very discomfort I needed to grow. At the end of the day, I knew I had beaten more than just the physical discomfort. I had beaten the excuses that kept me from pushing forward. If you've enjoyed this video so far, make sure to join our community of life architects. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel to grow and lets me know you're finding value in what I'm sharing. Now, as promised, from mindset, let's move into some practical tricks you can start applying right away. One of the most powerful habits I've developed, and trust me it works, is breaking down big tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Yeah, I don't shy away from mentioning this habit in many of my latest videos. It's one of those things that can make or break your ability to stick with hard work. When you're looking at something too big to handle, what is your response? To procrastinate. But unfortunately, at times, especially when you're tired, we tend to follow that impulse. We've all been there. Not gonna lie, I'm still there quite often. But when all these ideas bounce around in your head about how you're supposed to take this unmovable mountain and turn it into something actionable, that's when you need to remember to break it down. Stop focusing on the whole thing and ask yourself, what's the first thing you can do? When I want to write a video script, I start with the talking points. And once I have that first step completed, it's easier to keep going. This same principle applies to any big task. Another tool that's essential for reprogramming your brain to crave hard work is mindfulness. For me, it has become a game changer when it comes to reducing the mental weight of tasks and helping me stay focused. But it wasn't always like this. For a long time, I wasn't convinced. I'd hear people talk about it here and there, but I tried it several times and figured it wasn't for me. This changed when I had some free time at my work. I sat down at a comfortable armchair in one of the numerous buildings on the campus, somewhere no one could interrupt me, and as I was reading a science-based book on willpower, I realized that maybe I shouldn't miss out on this habit. The author sold it. I realized how powerful it's meant to be. It's about training your brain to focus on the now. You don't try to avoid intrusive thoughts. You simply let them come and go. This is the part I underestimated. It's about becoming aware of your urges and thoughts and not acting on your impulses on autopilot. And the fact there is science to back up benefits of meditations made me try it one more time. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to sit cross-legged in silence next to a waterfall for hours. You can start small. That's what I did. And that was the only way I could stick to it. The more you practice, the better you get at staying focused. Now let's talk about creating routines that support hard work. Because if you have a solid routine in place, you'll find it much easier to keep moving forward even on days when motivation is low. Your brain thrives on patterns and repetition, so when you establish a consistent routine, it begins to anticipate and prepare for the work ahead. You no longer have to fight the internal battle of should I start now? Because it becomes a habit. After hearing about benefits of meditation for the millionth time, I decided to practice it after coming home from work or from the gym. After work, I take a shower and then meditate. This way my urge to binge eat after a long day will probably fade away too. But once you've built a routine that makes hard work feel more natural, you can further amplify your progress. Which leads us to the final tip. Every video I post, every bit of content I improve, it feels like I'm still years away from that silver or gold YouTube button, but it's those small victories along the way that keep me going. Each time I hit a milestone, like filming footage for several videos or publishing 4th video this month, I take a moment to acknowledge it. Because the more you celebrate the small victories, the more you realize that it's them that build up the bigger ones. By combining these mental shifts with actionable habits, you'll start to find that hard work doesn't just get easier, it becomes something you actively crave. Stick with it, and over time, you'll see the transformation unfold. Join our community of life architects. Be sure to subscribe, and if you want to learn more about mushroom productivity and building a mindset that craves progress, check out this playlist right here. I truly hope this video is helpful, and definitely have a good day.